Welcome to the 3Haunted podcast, where we bring you all things horror, supernatural, folklore, mythology, and all things that go bump in the night.
What's up, everybody? This is your co-host, Ashley Lunar Goddess, Gorilla Girl filmmaker and horror-loving cinephile. I'm just your average podcast-producing badass.
I'm John Thomas. Some would say that I go a little too far with my love of all things horror, paranormal, and meta, but I say, talk nerdy to me, and I'm all yours.
I'm BJ Sewura, an aspiring paranormal musician who plays live for the dead because the living just doesn't want to hear me.
The Dead of Winter Horror Network and Nick King from the 508 Productions invite you to endure the most terrifying immersive experience in all of podcasting. Beneath the Red Umbrella, now available wherever you listen to podcasts. Beneath the Red Umbrella, when the snow falls, the killing season begins.
What's up, ghouls, gals, and all of our sci-fi horror lovers out there? In today's episode, we'll be discussing extraterrestrial horror with special guest Guillermo Billy Aragón. Welcome to the show, Guillermo.
Wow, thank you. That's quite the introduction. This said my name perfectly.
Thank you. I should be able to say your name by now. We're 20 plus years in.
Already. This is cool. Thank you. Thank you for asking me to do this. This is a trip.
Yeah, I'm very excited. So for those who are used to our format, when we have a guest on, usually the guys, or me, just depending who the guest is, ask, how do you know each other? So, Guillermo, how do we know each other?
Good question. When did we meet? College, Boulder. I think it was in a scholarship program. And I don't know how it just came up. From the get-go, we started talking about horror films, specifically, I think, Nightmare on Elm Street. That was my go-to.
Yeah, we were on a panel together, and we presented to a group of incoming first-generation students from their families coming to college, and we were on a panel together and just talking about our personal experiences and being first-gen students ourselves. And yeah, I don't even, like you said, I don't know how we even brought up horror, but we clicked. Freddy, because we both love Freddy.
Yeah, he's always been my go-to, I think, since early age. I was into horror, honestly, as early as like 6 years old. My mom had no idea, but that was my go-to. I think Nightmare on Elm Street and Child's Play, my go-to.
Was it because of did you have like older siblings or cousins that you watched it with?
Actually, no. Now that I think about it, I remember, I think I had a copy of Nightmare on Elm Street 2 on VHS. And I don't know, for some reason I felt like it was like contraband. So it was something I hid for some reason. And I don't know, I started watching them all ever since. It was just fun.
You know what? Now that I think about it, BJ, weren't you on campus at the same time we were? When were you at
You know
CU?
what's funny? I know. I've been thinking about this. We haven't even ever talked about this. It's so crazy. Like, we've known each other for a while now, too. And yeah, so I was there from 2002 to 2006.
It was the same time.
At Boulder?
Which is
Yeah, he was the
Yeah.
same
Oh, wow.
older.
Okay.
Which is weird because, like, you tend to know all the minorities on campus. And there's not that many
You're
of
not
us.
wrong. You're not wrong.
It's true. It's true.
But yeah, I was part of, at the time it was called MASP, the Minority Arts and Sciences program. So I was part of that crew.
I remember
so I
hearing
knew
that.
all of them. But yeah, it's crazy that I never like ran into you guys, or maybe I did, but like, I don't know.
So I was part of UMass. Were you?
Umesumecha. I remember that.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah,
I
I
went
was
to a
part of
couple
that.
meetings, but I probably could have gotten more involved.
I mean, you did a lot. You did a lot for the business school and for first gen students. I mean, that's where we met,
True.
being awkwardly on a panel. And you're like, hello, my name is Billy. I'm like, that's not your fucking name. But
You told me that twice. I remember that.
I sure did. I was like, excuse me, that's not your name.
I have no idea what we were doing on that panel to this day. I don't even know why we were there, to be honest. But
But we had a good time. That's what mattered. We amused ourselves during the panel.
yeah, no, it was cool. It was cool.
Did you guys go to any of the like movies that they showed at CU at the time? I think because I have a poster here of the Blair Witch Project. I'm trying to remember. Do you guys remember when did that even come out? Because was that during college?
John knows. Look, he's gonna unmute. He knows.
Yep, 1999.
19. Okay,
Blair
so it was
Witch came
before
out
that.
like for me, I want to say like middle school or high school. That was a big deal.
Okay.
99 would have been like when we were freshmen. So,
Yeah. God, that was a big deal. I remember that.
yeah. It's so good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I just remember going to movies. That was one of the big things that I liked doing at CU. They would have like movie nights, and I would go to that kind of stuff. But I want to say
Those were cool.
Mm-hmm.
We hosted our own movie nights.
Yeah.
From Napster or whatever.
No, DVDs, friend. I had
Yep.
my DVD player, and Guillermo had lots of DVDs. But we also
Box set.
bonded over not just horror, because we also loved like Mi Familia, and Blood and Blood Out, Beverly Hills Cop. Like we had a lot of things that we bonded over movie wise, because he is clearly a cinephile himself. So
Yeah, definitely not just horror. I think both my parents worked a lot. Like, so if I think back on my childhood, I was either watching some TV series or watching movies. So they definitely raised me. If it was a TV series, Saved by the Bell was my go-to. If I didn't have access to a VCR, I could quote that backwards, forwards. But
The Cosby Show.
oh, for sure. Cosby, Fresh Prince, Saved
Yep.
by the Bell. Absolutely. 100%.
I just remember, like, we were in college and we were always out and about, whether it was like, we would go in the middle of the night to like Denny's or whatever. What was that? And just talk about movies and TV.
My biggest memory at Boulder was, I want to say I was in my first year. I was in the dorm still. Kill Bill Volume 1 came out.
I love that
And
movie.
the theater there in Boulder, it hadn't quite transitioned to like the stadium seating just yet. It was like old, like one level, huge screen. And I went opening night with somebody in my dorm, and it was incredible. We went back the next night, paid full price, admission, everything, watched it all over again, 3 nights in a row. Incredible. I still love that movie. It's one of my go-tos.
I just introduced the kids to Kill Bill 1 and 2, so
Nice. What were their thoughts?
they were obsessed. They're just like, are there more of these? I'm like, I wish. Don't I wish there were more?
Volume 2. It's funny.
Yeah, we loved it. But we all agree that like Lucy Liu's character is the best by far.
Yeah, she's up there. Or Anishi.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. I think Tarantino movies, I mean, I think a lot of people would agree. They're just incredible. They're unmatched.
I'm a big Tarantino fan, whether it be From Dusk Till Dawn, Kill Bill.
Oh, yeah. Robert Rodriguez, Tarantino together do some incredible work. Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
Because when you can tell the influence Tarantino had, even in the From Dusk Till Dawn franchise, because he was involved in the first one, and you know, it's a very iconic movie. Then he pulled out from the second and the third, and although they're fun, there is a clear difference. Like you can feel him missing.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah, Tarantino's Pulp Fiction was a big part of like growing up on movies. I remember I was pretty obsessed with that. Had a copy on DVD, VHS, you name it.
At some point, I want to have a Tarantino party where you come as your favorite Tarantino character.
I did that.
Who did you go as?
I was Butch. I had some boxing gloves, and you know, it was great.
Who would you go as?
Ooh, I'd have to think about that. I don't know. I think I'd want to throw it back to like a Robert Rodriguez, like Desperado.
Ooh.
Yeah, a little branching off from the Tarantino, but I'm definitely a big Robert Rodriguez fan.
I'd want to go as Santanico. Because dream big, right? I'd wear a real snake and everything. I don't care. I love snakes, though, so that would not bother me.
Yeah, she was a big reason why I got into that movie at a young age, as you can imagine.
Oh, I am sure she's the reason a lot of people got into that movie. Of all ages.
That's probably one of my favorites. Like late at night, if I'm having trouble sleeping or just channel surfing, if I see that song streaming anywhere from Dusk Till Dawn, it's
Yeah.
Perfect. It's perfect.
That's me and Bram Stoker's Dracula.
That has a special place in my heart.
If I'm needing to multitask, but I want to put something on like horror related, that's typically one, because I feel like I can tune out enough and still focus on other things, but still be kind of aware of everything going on. And, you know, most people listening to this would probably be like, what? Not the Lost Boys? And it's like, no, because I wouldn't get anything done. I would stop and then stare
True.
at the
Yeah, that's a good
TV.
point. Yeah, there's a fine balance of, you know, rewatchability and, you know, being able to just kind of go in and out, kind of catching different scenes as they come along.
Exactly, and there's some really beautiful scenes in Bram Stoker's Dracula, but as a whole, it's something I can like, oh, you know, divert focus occasionally. But with The Lost Boys, I'd be all in. It'd
Yeah.
be like 2 hours later, oh shit, I was supposed to do that.
Yeah, I get that. This is so cool. I'm enjoying this.
Good, I'm glad.
Yeah,
You know
yeah.
what's crazy? You guys, I'm just looking at like horror movies that came out like in the early 2000s. There's a good amount of movies, a good amount of horror. Like it's crazy. I didn't even realize this, you know, like
Yeah.
obviously like The Ring, was it Scream?
Well, there was definitely a lot. That was another special place in my heart. The late 90s, early 2000s, like teen horror, like Scream, The Faculty. Oh,
Oh,
that
I
movie
love
was
The
awesome.
Faculty.
You know, the younger stars, those.
Josh Hartnett with his terrible haircut.
I am so glad he is making a comeback.
I saw
Like
that.
he's
Yeah.
getting he is a great actor. People don't realize that. And you know, I'm sure he has stayed acting kind of in things over the past few decades. However, he's really getting like pushed forward front and center right now. And I love that because he is phenomenal. Like Penny Dreadful, the TV series, what he has like been able to convey and emote is beautiful. I feel like at this point I watch season 2 and 3 just for him, just for his scenes. I know we have to watch it because we're doing episodes on it, but really I find myself as soon as he's on screen, I fully check in. There are times where my mind kind of wanders a little, but as soon as he's on, he is so compelling to watch and what he's able to evoke, that it's just, I think he's great. And I'm excited to see him in that new John Wick world type, or from the same filmmakers of John Wick and on the plane or whatever. I'm like, yes, it is your time, buddy. Let's go for it.
He's definitely being taken seriously a lot more than he ever had been, I'd say.
Maybe because he changed his haircut, John?
That might be it.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, no, I think the late 90s, early 2000s, you know, of course, now that I'm on right now, I'm drawing a blank on some of my favorites, but there were quite a few that I could watch a million times over. Like Faculty is definitely up there. I saw it streaming on one of the services last week. I've watched it probably 5 times since then, or at least had it on. Yeah.
I loved that it wasn't like, if we were talking about horror history and the timeline, definitely early 2000s was like the revamp of the horror genre, and like just they ramped it up and they pushed it out like they were doing. I remember because I did this with my mom, every year they were doing horror releases on Christmas Day and like Thanksgiving Day. They were doing special horror, you know, movie premieres on those holidays. And that was a blast.
Heck yeah. I mean, like Final Destination, right? That was year 2000.
Yeah. Oh, there it is. Yeah. The whole franchise. It was cool because it, you know, growing up, at least when I did, you'd mention anything before late 90s. You mentioned horror genre and you think, you know, slasher films or, you know, the traditional ones. And they really took it somewhere else for an entirely broader audience. That was really cool to see.
So another one that came out was 28 Days Later.
We're about to get
2002.
28 years later.
Oh, yeah.
So and Final Destination, right?
Yeah.
Like it's
That's
coming
out.
back.
It's out
I
at
know.
IMAX.
Yeah, it's out already. Came out
but
Friday.
like that's what I'm saying. Like it's crazy that like the 2000, because I'm old. I'll just say I'm old. I won't say you guys are old, but I'm old, and like, you know, they're already like doing stuff, right? Like for Final Destination, and you know, it's like almost like a rehash of it, or not rehash, but like they're making more of them, right? And 2000 doesn't seem that long ago, but I guess it is now.
Well, I mean, somebody mentions the 80s. I think, 20 years ago. No. Nope. Not anymore.
Yeah, and you know, 2025 is the year of horror. They are pumping out so much horror this year. We have so many trailers coming out. We have original films coming out. I mean, Sinners is still killing it in the box office. It is still dominating the box office. And I love it. I mean, I've seen it 3 times. I'm probably going to go see it a 4th time in theater. Like, take my money. It is phenomenal, and I love it, and I can't get enough of it. And I can't wait till it's streaming because I'm going to watch it probably like 100 more times in 1 month. But there's so much to pick apart in that movie in a good way. So many layers to, just unravel. And I'm excited to watch it more. And that's rare. Usually I'll see something, I'm like, man, that was good. And maybe I'll watch it a second time. But this one I am really like, I need to watch more.
That's cool when you watch something for the first time and you can tell it's something special. Like, I'm already planning to, purchase it, or, I'm dating myself, on DVD or Blu-ray or whatever it is. And then you hold on to that, and that's on, at the top of your list, a new something at the top of your list. That's really, really cool.
They know their demographic. You mentioned like dating yourself with the Blu-ray, but they're actually creating a special Blu-ray for Sinners that's going to have the adjusting cinema framing that they did for IMAX. So it's going to mirror what people experienced in IMAX. So They know who's loving it. And they're like, we're going to put it on Blu-ray.
I don't remember the last time I used my Blu-ray player.
Have you seen it, Guillermo?
I haven't. Actually been super swamped. Got a full plate like the last couple months, honestly, between running a boxing gym and my other job. I've got some catching up to do. I've got a full queue on a lot of streaming services. Got to get back out to the theater. I'm slacking.
I almost swore at you in Spanish for that.
I deserve it.
I deserve it.
But I agree with Ashley. It is a good one. It is up there. Like I was a little hesitant because I'm like, people are hyping it like crazy. Yeah. I'm like, come on now. Yeah. And then I went and saw it, and then I went and saw it again. I did the same thing. I went and saw it by myself. Like I had a break between jobs, and I was like, I got like 3.5 hours to kill. And then I looked at what was playing, and then I could have saw that or Thunderbolts, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go see Sinners again.
Yes.
Like I'm just gonna do it. And it is that good. It is one of those movies. And I've been listening to the soundtrack almost every day. Like it's crazy how much it affects you. Like when a movie can just grab you and just be like, just hit you so hard that you're almost crying, man. Like I was literally almost crying, like in one particular scene. And actually, I'm sure you know which scene I'm talking about. It involves music.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But, and the music itself is just like, even like the album, the score, everything, the soundtrack is doing phenomenal. And, obviously they have Ludwig, I forget how to say his last name, but he's on every flippin' amazing soundtrack out there right now. And he is a genius. He scoured, like I was reading somewhere, I don't remember, but I read in an article, he scoured all of the world to find 3 specific guitars to play those blues notes on, because he wanted it as authentic of a sound as he could get. And like that scene you're talking about, they actually had him set up his full like DJ production set, and he's playing that while they're recording the scene just so they could really feel that moment. And it's like, you hear these things and it's like, no wonder this is a phenomenal movie. And anyone that didn't like it, go fuck yourself. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I love it when there's a soundtrack just as special as the film itself. I mean, now that I think about it, a lot of my favorite, I wouldn't say the movies that are the best movies ever, but my personal favorite, the ones I could just watch a million times, the character development, everything's there, but they got a soundtrack to match it. And I can just listen to the soundtrack over and over again.
Like what?
I'll say it again, Kill Bill. A lot of the Tarantino movies, honestly. Kill Bill, that was a solid soundtrack. I remember that really well. Let's see, what else?
Well, Robert Rodriguez too, for like Desperado.
Oh, that was a
From
good
Dusk Till
one.
Dawn. Like his band, what is it, Chingon? Like
Chingon and Los
spaghetti
Lobos.
Western music. Yeah,
Los Lobos does a lot of work for him too. Yeah, Chingon is really cool. He did stuff for both volumes 1 and 2. Kill Bill. Malagueña Salerosa. That's a good.
I love Malagueña Salerosa.
That's
And
good one.
Alacrán y El Pistolero. Is that
El
what?
Pistolero. Yeah, it's also by
Yeah.
Los Lobos. Los Lobos is a cover of that too.
Oh,
Yeah,
I love
nice.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Love those songs. So I have them. I play them.
Oh, same. Yeah, I play them at the gym.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I've been lifting to songs from Sinners. Like I'll be at the gym, strength training, and there's a few songs that I will lift to.
That's
Um,
cool.
Tell me why the vampires in the movie had the coolest song. Like I don't know, BJ, if you've downloaded the soundtrack, but in
Oh
Moonlight,
yeah.
they've got
Yes.
like the vampire song associated with the vampires. I'm like, yes. See,
Yes.
I would be a
Yes.
vampire. I'd be like, take me. I'll do it.
I'm
Let's unite.
thoroughly excited to check out Sinners now, especially the soundtrack.
Yeah, because it's not like we've talked about this. It's not your typical vampire movie either. There's just so much to it. There's just so much that you're just like, and it's innovative the way they do it. Just all of it. Just and it's a period piece, and it's just the acting's amazing. Just the yeah. It brings you into a place where it's a little familiar, but it's new at the same time, and then it just hits you. And yeah.
Now we brought you in because we're talking about a movie going on and on that you haven't watched yet. So,
Oh, all good. I like it.
so
I
we
like
brought
it.
you in to talk about sci-fi horror because you love sci-fi horror too. So
Yes.
let's go in. Let's put the sci-fi hat on. What's your favorite horror
Yeah.
sci-fi movie?
Honestly, the first thing that comes to mind is just the X-Files franchise. X-Files franchise. Since I was a kid, I think even scarier for me, scarier than your slasher or any horror films. For some reason, being abducted by aliens, that was a very real possibility to little, 7, 8-year-old Billy Guillermo.
You better use your real name.
I mean, I still remember my cousin. I stayed the night over at his house a lot, and he had this little lamp, an ET lamp. I remember it was a statue of ET. He was like this, and I was the youngest one, and of course, the last one out of the room. You got to turn off the light. I was terrified. I shit you not, terrified. I'd switch it off and run my ass out that room, shut that door. For some reason, I don't know. All the kids just thought ET was so cute and lovable. I was terrified of that thing at first. No joke. For some reason, just aliens in general, it was scary, but still fun for me at the same time. I don't know. I just liked that uncomfortable, it could happen, scary feeling for whatever reason.
Well, yeah, you just said we were talking about the faculty, right?
Yes.
Same thing, right?
Yeah.
Just that whole making it scary, not just a sci-fi thing. It's also almost a monster thing, right?
Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
they blend the monster genre with the sci-fi, right?
Absolutely. I think, as I mentioned, X-Files was up there for sure. Every Friday night. That was a big deal for me. I don't know.
Have you seen all of them?
I want to say right when David Duchovny was, when he made his exit, I probably slowed down watching as much, but the original duo, Scully and Mulder, that was it right there. That was it. Um, and then I remember really well Fire in the Sky. Shortly thereafter, that was terrifying to me as a kid, but I loved it. I couldn't stop watching it. I think because the aliens, for whatever reason, they weren't your typical little green men portrayal. If I remember correctly, I remember thinking when I first saw them, they looked like little old men. They're small little beady eyes. They're like hunched over, stuffing stuff down his mouth and poking his eyes and everything. And that was terrifying because that was based on true events. To what extent, who knows? But at the same time, to this day, I could watch that over and over again.
Now, do you still have like a fear of aliens and being abducted?
More of a curiosity now that I'm a little bit older. To this day, one of my favorite things to do is go out in our backyard, lay on our trampoline, and just stare up at the stars and just wonder. Let the vastness of outer space, just the vacuum, just allow me to just scare myself half to death. I don't know. There's something about being scared right there on the edge that one of my favorite things. one of my favorite things. And I still think about it. I still wonder, but yeah, I think that might be common. I don't know.
I don't know. The concept of infinity and like infinite time gives me a little bit of anxiety.
Since I was a kid, one of my favorite things to do is just stare up and just imagine, all right, gravity turns off right now. Like, what would that look like? And allow that to scare me. I don't know. I just like being scared in a sick way.
What kind of experience would you want to have? Like of the third kind, fourth kind, fifth kind? Like if you actually met an alien, like would you just like to see a UFO fly by, or would you like to be like, hey, what's up, fella?
Absolutely.
Let's
Take
have a
me.
meal.
I'd say take me. Yeah. No, as a kid, I probably would be the same answer, of course, but I think I've always wondered that just to be able to just be amongst them and just watch them and to see how they see us, that just fascinates me. That'd be incredible. I don't know. Of course, I don't think I'd be as scared. Maybe if they looked like the guys, like the aliens on fire in the sky, maybe a little scared, but no.
Just a little bit.
Yeah, I was pretty obsessed with that at the time.
So, in terms of movies, what are you like, aliens wise? What kind of movies do you gravitate towards?
You know what? I think like most people, I have my phases. For the longest time, let's say, high school, definitely like the late 90s, like I mentioned, the teen casts of the horror films. But then shortly after that, a lot of, like I said, Robert Rodriguez, Tarantino. A lot of my alien days were definitely when I was younger. That would preoccupy my mind a lot of the time, wondering if that was an actual possibility, if they were going to take me.
I mean, you mentioned The Faculty being one of your favorites, and that's
Yeah,
an alien film. That's
yeah.
alien horror. What's taking over the students? That's an alien.
That's definitely up there, one of my favorites for sure. Um, I think because it was monster like, not just the fear of being taken, but holy shit, they're taken over, and which one of us are them. That was so cool. That was really cool.
Which one of us? And then it's the one you didn't, you didn't suspect.
Oh, of course, that's the best part.
Although
No,
I
absolutely.
suspected her. I grew up
You
on
did?
horror, so I'm like, it's that little innocent bitch
Yeah, yeah.
I'm out of town.
from out of town.
I
I'm
thought
just
for sure,
used you to hear. I don't know what's going on.
conveniently from Atlanta, Georgia.
Is that convenient?
What else? There was a couple more that I had. I wore out the tapes. Honestly, just
Tapes.
tapes. Yeah, dating myself again. Um, I wore out the first X-Files movie a lot. I remember that. X-Files, The Faculty were my go-tos for a long time, but also Killer Clowns from Outer Space since I was a kid. Like
Yay.
every time I see cotton candy, I think of somebody wrapped up as in a cocoon every single time. It was
So
the
that's
best.
not your carnival food of choice.
Oh no, it is. It is. I just like to think about it.
That's a great movie. I love that movie. I'm not even a big clown person, but like Killer Clowns from Outer Space, again, we talked about music, like the soundtrack with it is just great. It's
Oh, I
just
can hear it right
perfect
now in my
combination.
head. Yeah,
Right.
ahead of its time, I'd say. Yeah, like I said, I've definitely had my phases. My first loves definitely Nightmare on Elm Street and Child's Play for some reason. Um, but then Aliens as I got older. Still to this day, my favorites. I could watch all those 100 times over. There's something about a familiar movie that just, I don't know, it's comforting to me. Like, they raised me.
They raised me. They raised all of us, I'm finding, in this little core podcast unit right now. And
Absolutely.
I don't know.
I'm a big fan of the sci-fi horror too, and my big go-tos are like we talk Aliens, but the actual movie Aliens
Yeah.
and Predator, right? So if you had to choose between the two, do you have a favorite?
Predator. Absolutely. It's cool because like you said, they could go so many different directions with Aliens. You could do, the horror route or the more action action-packed ones. Predator, that one was really cool. Not so much because it was scary, but I mean, to me, that's the coolest looking alien, any type of costume design I've ever seen in my life. Like easily. Just the concept of it, his teeth coming out as they do. That's a good one.
I had a recurring nightmare of the predator chasing me. Like, and then I would like at the end of the dream, I would just be like, I'm not going to get away. Like, it's the predator. Like, just give up. And then I would give up and then I would wake up. So it's kind of crazy.
That's a good one. I like that one. Yeah, I think just the potentially being abducted by aliens, the unknown. I mean, that's scary in and of itself. But being abducted and just going somewhere that I didn't think was possible, scary and cool to think about at the same time.
Now, as an adult, are there any horror films that scare you?
That still scare me.
Yeah, or like, is there a horror genre that kind of gets under your skin, a horror subgenre that gets under your skin a little bit?
There for a minute, Sinister, because that got pretty detailed, and that one I can remember. Yeah, recently, within the last few years, it came out. I want to say like last 5, not even 10 years. I want to say Sinister. Some of the I remember when The Ring came out. I was in high school. That one legitimately scared me. Seeing it in the theater, I've got to admit, Ring scared me. Sinister's up there though, just because it's so damn graphic and she was sick. I mean, it was twisted, but yeah.
Well, The Ring is one of those movies that, I mean, obviously it dates itself because of the tape, right?
Oh, I never thought about that. Yeah, absolutely. No, I remember that was a good one. My high school, I was a senior in high school when that came out, and they had a movie night, and they premiered The Ring. And I think the experience, that certainly goes a long way. If you're watching with like a full theater and the time is right and everybody's really into it, that's something special. When you have everybody, gasping at the same time or jumping at the same time. Those are definitely my favorite movie theater experiences.
I think they tried with The Ring to make it modern pretty quickly, though, with like Rings or whichever one that was, because then it became like a digital download and then sent out in emails to the world.
Felt like they were maybe reaching a little bit and trying to stretch that, the success of the first one out, obviously. But yeah, man, I'm excited to get back to the theater. Summertime, that's next to a baseball game, the movie theater, summer, my favorite place to be.
I love drive-ins.
Yes.
When was the last time any of you guys were in a drive-in?
Last year.
Really? Where's the nearest one?
There's one in Fort Collins, pretty close to where I live. And yeah, it's been there since I was a kid. I went and saw, the first movie I ever saw there was Short Circuit 2.
Nice. Yes.
And yeah, it's still open and they're still thriving. Like they're still doing, because it overlooks the mountains.
Wow.
That's what's cool about it, is that it's almost like it feels like you're out in nature and not by a highway or something.
I remember out here, I'm in Northern California right now, right outside the San Francisco Bay Area. And in the East Bay, a city called Union City, up until about 20 years ago, a really popular drive-in. And that was cool because they always had double features. I remember when one of them I saw Encino Man with Honey, I Blew Up the Kids. There's some solid ones in there. That was a special time, I remember. Yeah, drive-in movie theater. It's cool to find one when they're still around. I don't remember the last time I saw one, to be honest. Now I'm thinking about it, do you think that's a common fear among people? Like, if people actually thinking, obsessing about alien abductions? I mean, I'm starting to think maybe it wasn't that popular to actually be afraid of.
Oh, I was
Like,
afraid of it as a kid.
Yeah.
Fire in the Sky fucked me up. I'm not gonna lie. But I did, like you, watched it a lot. So yeah.
Yeah. Like I'm probably the only person I've ever known that was legitimately afraid of E.T., the extraterrestrial.
My daughter was afraid of E.T. They re-released it in theaters when she was younger, and I took her to watch it. Nope. Anything that had to do with E.T., nope. Nothing.
Fucking scary looking, especially the first time Elliot sees him in the back. Holy shit. And then when he's sick, like when he's like he's getting sick,
dying,
he's
he's
all
all
white
white,
and
yeah.
dying. He's reaching. Hell no. On some
Keep
level,
your
I think
fucking
it's so
hands
creeps
away.
me out. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ugh. I mean, she's cute and all. I think Fire in the Sky, just that whole progressively throughout the movie, it shows a little bit more of his experience when a little more in detail. Towards the end, it's full on. They're stuffing jelly down his throat. They wrap him in that sheet, all this stuff, and then the needle coming down to his eye. Holy smokes, that really fucked me up. Like that, it really did. It really did. But I still like it for whatever reason. I don't know.
I think at the time, like there were so many sci-fi movies out during the 90s and early 2000s that it was kind of like how horror is like at the present time. It was just such a big thing. There were so many things going on, and I think it just put it in everybody's heads to be a little bit of afraid of things like like Event Horizon, for example.
Mm-hmm.
Like that one
Phenomenal
messes
movie.
me up still.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. The Fifth Element. I mean, it's a fun one, but I don't know if that one's scared
That's a good
anybody.
one. That was
But
good. That was a good one. Yeah,
I
that
think
was
there
a
was
fun
too
time.
much puppetry and comedy in that to be.
Really scary. But
Especially with
they had
Chris
a lot
Tucker
of
in it.
sci-fi. Oh yeah.
Corbin, my man, Corbin. I have no fire. I have no fire, Corbin.
Independence Day.
Oh, I love Independence Day. I
I
still
will
watch that every
that.
July
Yep.
4th.
Oh, I
Hell
remember
yeah.
that was such a huge deal. I remember like the
Yes.
hype behind that, the money that Fox dropped behind that. I remember like the week before opening weekend, Independence Day, July 4th weekend. They even had on every Fox affiliate, they interrupted like the regular broadcast for like the programming that was in the movie, like showing like emergency warning, like, and some people were actually tripping out, like wondering what's going on. It was just hype behind the movie, but on every single Fox affiliate around the country, they had, I think it was like Channel One New York or something like that. And I remember that was a really big deal. That was like epitome of summer blockbuster movie.
I actually just saw this about that movie. They interviewed Ethan Hawke, and I guess he passed on it. He was going to be Will Smith's character, but I
What?
guess he was like reading the script while they were driving, and then his friends were laughing at some of the lines in it, and so he just tossed the script. And then he went back, and then like all the family went and watched the movie, and then he's like, "Oh,"
I could
as he
see
saw
that.
everybody's reaction in the theater. He's like, "Oh my god, I made a mistake."
There are definitely some
Yeah.
lines that only Will Smith could pull off. Otherwise, just seeing them on paper, it's just hokey as shit. Like you can't be serious. But I think it was probably written for somebody like Will Smith to be able to make it look.
Yeah,
real.
I can't see Ethan Hawke doing
Yeah.
Welcome to Earth.
Welcome
Sorry.
to Earth.
No.
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
or like, I'm just excited to whoop ET's ass. That's all.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a good one. I remember that. That was pretty freaky. The scene where they're doing I guess you call it an autopsy, but the alien was still
Mhm.
alive, and had his, I guess you call it tentacles or something around the scientist's throat, talking through him. That was a trip. That got me for a minute. I gotta admit, that was a good one.
It's funny with that is his character was supposed to be dead, and for the second one, he was alive, and
That's right.
He was supposed to be dead, and the fellow who was the actor for him, Brent Spiner, even when he got the call saying, "Hey, we're bringing you back for Independence Day 2 as that character," he said his first response was, "I thought I was dead." And apparently, he's still excited to be a part of it, but he's just like, "I'm so confused." Well, apparently there was like a big fandom thing going on where people had like petitioned to bring him back. And
I could see that. He did a
was
good job of
lovable,
selling that.
goofy
Yeah.
character, yeah.
He was that kooky scientist, the weird dude. I mean, like you said, as you can imagine, they don't let us out much, and he sold it pretty well. I'll give it that.
Well, the irony of having him, play that character, considering he was Data in Star Trek for so long, and then to be like, "I'm also this goofy scientist who believes in aliens." Isn't that exciting?
Yeah, that was a good one. Dang, I got to get my VCR out. I got all those on VHS.
You still have a VCR?
I got the dual DVD VCR. Oh yeah, I still have all my VHS, DVDs, Blu-rays. Heck yeah.
I'm jealous.
Armageddon, Independence Day, Twister. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
those are good ones to keep.
Here's one. The Arrival, not the new one.
Charlie Sheen.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a
Wow.
creepy one. That was a weird one.
Right, where their legs bend backwards, they
Their knees.
hyperextend and they walk around their knees.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a good one. Yeah,
I watch too many movies.
I don't know if there is such a thing. Too many movies.
Fair. That's fair. I've been going down a rabbit hole of all the free streaming networks when I travel. And so it's fun to see what horror lives on those. Some are just ridiculous. Like I can't even finish it. But others I'm just like, wow, you little hidden gem, you.
Like,
Well, I'd have to go look now. It's been it's been a
Well,
minute.
if we're talking about sci-fi, have you ever seen the movie Starman?
Oh yeah.
So that one's a solid. That one's
80s.
a John Carpenter movie.
Yeah.
He's known for horror, but this one
yeah,
is very, very much a sci-fi love story of sorts.
yes,
And yeah,
yes.
Love story.
it is. It's great. Like I thought it was really good. I think Jeff Bridges. I don't know if he won an Oscar for that role. He did. Yeah, he
Oh
won
my
an Oscar for that
gosh,
role.
that's all coming back to me now.
Hmm.
That, and then now I'm starting to think of all the cheap ET knockoffs, like Mac and Me or something.
I loved Mac and Me. You leave that alone. You stay
I
away
liked
from
it
Mac.
too.
It was solid. There's some weird ones in there, but yeah, Mac and Me was all right.
Flight of the Navigator.
Oh yes, yes,
They're remaking that.
Of course they are.
really.
Yeah.
They can't stop touching things they don't need to touch.
Yeah,
That sounds
unfortunately.
like a police case.
It was kind of meant to.
Like that's how you catch a case, my friends. But you know what? I love a good horror movie that also has other elements embedded in it. Like Centers, you had historical commentary on there. But there's also horror movies that have like love stories. And, I'll admit it, I am such a sucker for like a good rom-com or a good love story. And the more tragic the love story, the more I hate it and the more I love it. So it's probably why I rewatch Bram Stoker so much. Do you guys have any horror love stories that you like?
I can't think of one.
Of course, if you start naming some off, I'll remember.
Well, The Lost Boys is a love story. I mean,
True.
Star and Michael, but it's also a sibling love story in a non-disgusting way. But you've got one brother willing to sacrifice everything to protect his older brother. I love that y'all are just like
The
nope.
Fly.
Yeah,
I mean, it's terrible, but like I love The Fly. It's like the worst couple movie ever, but like it's also like one of those movies that really messed me up as a kid. I was like, oh man, this is awful.
yes.
But I love it so much, and I've seen it way too many times. And that is, Gina Davis, be afraid, be very afraid. The very, famous line from that. And yeah, that's not a love story you want to get into.
I mean, you love Child's Play. You have Chucky and Tiffany and their whole love story. Love is scary. Like that's literally one of their lines or one of the log lines.
After Andy Barkley went to military school, I'd watch, but the first one, second one was solid. Third one is just fun to watch as a kid.
Okay, what about Return of the Living Dead Part 3?
Oh yeah, oh,
Yeah, that's I like
that's
that
a
one.
reference.
That's a hella love story.
Now you got me thinking of stuff. I think of like Lost Boys. I'm also starting to remember Silver Bullet for some reason. I watched the hell out of that one. What other ones? Whatever love story horror are you
Yeah,
thinking
give me
about,
more.
Ashley? Yeah.
Okay, let me think.
Underworld.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
that
yeah,
is.
yeah,
That's Star-Crossed
yeah.
Lovers.
Yep.
Yeah,
Are we
I was a
calling
big
that
fan of that.
horror? Yeah.
Hey,
It's vampires.
It dances
and
on
werewolves, but it's more action-y.
Action E.
I think most of like vampire stuff you could call horror. I mean, Fright Night. It's Fright Night. I mean, kinda. Amy.
30 Days of Night.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That's Eben
Right.
and what's her name again? I forget her character's name. Josh Hartnett. Another Josh Hartnett movie.
Oh yeah.
But that's I mean, their whole estranged marriage and him doing anything for her, like at the end, like that's a love story if I ever heard of one. And if your relationship could survive that, then you can survive anything.
I mean, Pet Cemetery, he buried his wife for her to come back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not love.
That's not love.
If you can handle some gooey-eyed,
Coming
stuff,
out, yeah.
That's love.
Honestly, I think all time next to Aliens, I think Chucky from Child's Play, Aliens, and then Gage from Pet Cemetery.
No fair,
Terror.
no fair.
No fair. No fair.
I
Those
want
are-
to play with you.
I
got something for
want
you,
to play
Mommy.
with you.
I got something for you, mommy. Oh
We
my
last. Ha ha ha. Oh my god.
Uh-huh.
His cute little shoes running. Oh my gosh.
The original Chucky.
Oh, man.
I have one that challenges, but I would argue is a love story.
Let's hear it.
Candyman.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
Ooh. That is a great love
He and
story. That
Helen.
is. I mean, even the way they shot it. I mean, just the warm, fuzzy like lighting and just how,
Their
absolutely.
sensual, like Helen's song or whatever. Like,
Yes.
I think that's kind of a love story.
I like that. Now I'm starting to think of let's see, people under this. Nah, not so much.
R.I.P. Tony Todd.
Oh,
Yep.
don't make me cry.
Dang, now I'm starting to remember all these movies I watched on repeat, love story or not.
Interview
Well-
with the Vampire, Lestat, and Louis.
That was a big deal.
Well, Louis and everybody, but he was a little slut puppy.
Yeah.
Like he was Armand and Lestat and like you name it. It's just like man, I guess if you're living forever, you're gonna get around though.
There's not much else to do. That's to some point.
You're a sensual creature. It's like, well, why not?
Gotta meet some people,
What are you gonna be afraid of? STDs? You can't fucking die.
To some extent,
They'll grow
Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is
Beetlejuice. There you go.
Beetlejuice?
with Lydia.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
see?
even not just Lydia, but them, Gina Davis.
Oh yeah,
and-
the Maitlands. Yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
See, look at that. Love and
There's
horror
lots.
All right.
goes
I
hand
see
in
it.
hand.
Annihilation. This is a newer one. You ever seen that one?
I remember
Is that the
seeing
one with,
it hyped.
Natalie Portman or whoever.
Natalie Portman and what's his face from Moon Knight.
Oh yeah, I can't remember his name, but I know who you're talking about.
But anyway, that one. So that it's kind of a love story because she goes to find her husband, like he's been lost in this weird bubble, and which were created by aliens, and so she goes into this bubble. And there's this weird things that happen. Like this movie's great, by the way. Evolution goes at a weird pace, and things start to like mesh together in weird ways. And for my money, like I haven't been scared by a movie where I had to stop the movie and just walk away than Annihilation. There is one scene
Wow.
in this movie where there's an animal. I'll just say there's an animal that shows up, and it just like scares the hell out of you because of what it does and what it looks like. And I just had to be like, nope, and just walked away.
You just noped your way out of there.
Is it streaming anywhere right now? Do you know of? I want to watch it tonight.
I think it's on Prime or Netflix. Maybe Max. I'm not sure. I'm just gonna name them all.
Oscar Isaac is his name. Jennifer Jason Leigh's in it. Tessa Thompson's in it.
Oh, it's an all-star cast.
It really is. It's like the visuals in that are beautiful. It's such a
I'm stoked.
yeah, man. And it is kind of I would say kind of a love story. And aliens, of course. So much of the aliens in that.
BJ, you brought up Fright Night with Amy, and absolutely, it's a love story between Amy and Charlie, and Amy and Jerry Dandridge. So
Right. Absolutely.
I was rooting for Amy and Jerry Dandridge. I mean, minus like if that's a minor and he's old as fuck, but take that aside, and we have, reincarnated love. Very Dracula-esque.
They remade that somewhat recently, didn't they?
I ignore those remakes.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, but I mean, the original one's classic. I'd say Beetlejuice definitely, though. Now, the more I think about it, especially the way I want to rewrite it in my own weird when I write on my stories, but yeah, that's
Do
something
it.
different.
Fanfic that shit. I want to read it.
A prequel.
I want
A
it.
prequel to Beetlejuice. Yeah, they should have done that seems like more of a better idea than what they did for the second one. I mean, I don't know. I still liked it, but I wasn't,
It was fun for what it was,
yeah.
I think. I mean, I think expectations beforehand certainly play a big part of how I enjoy a movie. If I go in thinking, okay, Beetlejuice, I mean, this isn't right there. It'll be
don't do
fun,
it
but
again.
nothing.
Don't do it.
Right. Nothing's going to come close to the original. That just goes without saying.
How'd you feel about Hellraiser?
Loved Hellraiser.
That smile that just went.
No, I don't. It is. I mean, honestly, I think Hellraiser did something special in the fact that it wasn't just horror. It wasn't just creepy or gory. I mean, slightly, like erotic. Like, I mean, all the. By slightly, I mean a lot. But I mean, everything. Just, I mean, some of the filters they used on it. It was just. I don't know. I remember, like right now, I'm thinking of the first few times I watched Hellraiser or any of the sequels. And I remember a really specific feeling that I had watching that I didn't get from any of those movies, any other scary movies I'd seen up until then. It was, it definitely felt like something different. That's for sure.
I love me some Hellraiser, so.
Yeah, the music for that too is amazing, phenomenal.
I think the scoring too, and we've brought this up a few times too, like scoring for Hellraiser was very spooky, melodic, haunting, erotic, but also carried that deep kind of demonic undertones. And it was fantastic. And, the same can be said about a lot of the movies we're referencing, that they paid attention to the scoring, which I think we hit a moment in horror where more was being focused on like the visceral sounds, like the blood, the guts, the, very unnerving sounds to make you creeped out versus the actual score, which can really be used when done well to create that same terror and discomfort and horror. So I'm glad that's being brought back. So
Yeah, I love that. I mean, I think, I mean, my first thought is, yeah, the blood, the guts. That's while it's creepy, it definitely doesn't create that, I guess, more visceral experience when you're thinking about, original soundtrack that when you're listening to it, just kind of takes you back to watching the movie. Not necessarily just remembering the scenes, associating the two, but really feeling what you felt while watching the movie. Uncomfortable, uneasy, but still enjoying it. I love a good soundtrack.
Jaws, or John Carpenter, like just simple sounds, and you just hear it a couple times, and it just takes you right there, right? That's even just scares you, just the sounds, just the little things that you hear.
yeah, and like Foley is important, and those sounds of bones breaking and blood gushing and teeth chomping, those are important, but those can be any movie, any title. Whereas a song is, like you said, it takes you right back to that movie and what you felt when watching that movie.
Exactly.
So it's special. When used well, it can be very special.
And it's cool. Like, I mean, I could think of, on one hand, Beetlejuice, where, to me, in my book, one of the best soundtracks ever. Same time, I'll think back to Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. A lot of those rock 80s. Every time I think of Dramarama, like I think of Nightmare on Elm Street. That was they had some solid songs for their soundtrack, whereas Beetlejuice, the original soundtrack, is just fantastic. There's it's second to none.
Lost Boys soundtrack. We're
Well, of
all gonna
course,
always envision
sax,
oiled up sax player.
they hit gold with that guy.
They sure did. They had so much gold. I went with John and BJ. We went to the Alamo Draft House watch party for the Lost Boys, and there was a guy dressed up like him. And when that scene came on, he got up and started like shaking, gyrating his hips. And it was great.
Nice. Yeah, I'm hoping to get back to theaters. I've had a full plate going on with everything going on in my life, family, but movies, whether horror, sci-fi, any genre, they're just a special place. I mean, it's just they raised me, and I love being able to quote movies and rewatch them 100 times, and it's like you're watching it for the first time. Those are the best.
What's your favorite movie quote?
Favorite movie quote, regardless of genre. I'm a dad. I'll quote Toy Story all day long. All day long. I know it's played out, but I mean, Mr. Potato Head, Don Rickles, you can quote him endlessly. Home Alone a lot. I don't know. Yeah. Quotes. I'll speak in quotes if you let me, honestly.
What about your favorite horror quote?
Horror. Ooh. I find myself referencing not the best one of the franchise, but Freddy's Dead: A Final Nightmare. He said, "Hey Spence, let's trip out." That or the Power Glove. Now we're playing with power. Nice graphics. That was a big deal. It was when it came out in 3D in the theaters. I remember that really well. They gave you the red and blue 3D glasses, and they told you at the ticket taker. They said, "Okay, when in the movie she puts on her glasses, you put on your glasses," and right away he jumps off the screen. That was such a big deal. That was like mind blowing to like 8-year-old Billy. Guillermo.
He's on my face.
As a matter of fact, there's a certain Nightmare on Elm Street box set that has 3D glasses with it. That was.
I wonder who has that.
Right. That's a solid collection. I got it on DVD. Nightmare on Elm Street collection.
I wonder where that is. I don't know.
Haven't been able to find it. It's weird.
I didn't realize the glasses were in there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, specifically for Freddy's Dead: Final Nightmare.
Look, Guillermo is amazing. I have my Dracula pop because of him from Bram Stoker's Dracula.
Yep.
I have a Lost Boys t-shirt, and I have Nightmare on Elm Street, apparently with 3D glasses in there, and I never knew.
They're in there.
You're a very supportive, amazing friend. Yay, buddy.
My pleasure.
And we're only born a day apart.
I am, as the older one, between
as the older one of the twins.
Yeah.
So you guys are in your like early 30s, right? Is that right?
Yeah.
Right.
Uh-huh.
We'll be 32. Is that what we're saying? 32?
Yeah. We'll be 33 this year. Magical number.
Yeah, we're talking about watching Lost Boys. And
hey, we're into classic horror.
Yeah, they're timeless. Yeah. Anybody can watch it, right?
Retro Zen. It hurts me to say that about the Lost Boys.
That term retro. I mean, for stuff I grew up watching, whether they call it old school or throwbacks, or it's just good.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all, but here we are.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I got this. This is for my brother who used to work at the movie theater, and it was for like CDs, but it was the Lost Boys, and it's a little pin on there.
That is awesome.
I'm going to steal it.
It's got signed from the guy from
Tim Capello?
Yes.
That is so cool. I lucked out. One of my best friends in high school worked at a movie theater and while we were in school. And he would hook me up with all the official movie posters, all the standees, all of that. One of my favorites was The Matrix. And the entire poster was the Matrix code, the hologram like popping up.
Cool.
So cool. Yeah, so I had some really, really cool ones.
Do you still have any of them?
I may in storage.
I may.
I do.
I
Yeah.
have a Lost Boys poster from the theatrical one.
No.
It's huge, like because it was at the movie theater. I need to put it back up on display, but yeah, I do have one. I hunted it down. So one of my old bosses knew I was obsessed. He was going to a vintage poster collector because he needed some items for a private signing that was going to be done. And he happened to see that there. And he sent me a text. I see this. Do you want it? And I'm like, get it. He's like, do you want to know how much it is? I'm like, get it.
Good call.
That wasn't the question. It was a demand.
My my favorite piece that my friend hooked me up with was Spider-Man. I think 2001, Tobey Maguire, the very first,
Okay.
right? And apparently, the way I understand it was, well, I'll describe what I have first. Wall-sized vinyl, heavy vinyl poster, Spider-Man. All it shows is Spider-Man coming around, looking around the corner of a building, and in the reflection are the Twin Towers.
Oh.
And it shows the original theatrical release date it was scheduled for. Obvious reasons, they had to completely rewrite it. But there aren't that many of those on there out there from what I understand. So it's a very nice heavy duty vinyl wall size, like 8-foot poster. It's beautiful. So I'm holding on to some of those for a while.
You got to put them on display.
Yeah.
Don't put a push pin through it, though. Don't.
No.
I will
You
punch
kidding
you in
me?
the nose.
Are you kidding me? Yeah, it has like the heavy duty dowels and everything, the wood coming out, so you could hang it up on nails and it'll be fine.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
That's great. That's what this is. I have a Blair Witch one, and it has all the dates of the different events that happened through time, and those were only in theaters. Like they didn't have those in because I tried to look it up online, and they just don't have them. And somebody had to tell me that that's what that was because my brother worked at the movie theater, so that's where I got that. And then underneath that one is an interview with the vampire, just like you said. It says it's that thick, like because it had light that would go through the back of it to light it up.
Oh, that's so cool.
So those are, for those of you that are into that kind of stuff, like become friends with people that work at the movies because they have access to that
100%.
stuff.
100%. Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, this is cool. I'm really thank you again for asking me to do this. It's fun to talk movies, horror, all of it to people that get it. Now I'm all amped to go through my VHS collection, and there's a few that I definitely wore out. Scream, I wore the hell out of that one. It's on certain scenes. It's just the tape is worn. Scream and Encino Man, completely worn.
I have every single Lost Boys iteration from like VHS to the original DVD release to the subsequent. Like I have the Steelbook, I have the like the special one they just came out with, like every single one. So when I say I am obsessed, I'm obsessed.
I believe it.
Guillermo, is there anything that you would like to own that you don't? Like we're talking about all this nostalgia stuff. Is there one piece of the past that you're like, I need this in my life?
First thing that comes to mind, anything Nightmare on Elm Street. Like if I were to think of any iconic piece of horror memorabilia, the hat. Not even a sweater. To me, it was the hat for some reason. I think of him, every time he comes back, right when you think he's done, picks up that hat, dusts it off, and puts it on. And I don't know. There's nothing cooler to me. Probably the glove, but I mean, I don't know. His hat, Freddy's hat. That's got to be up there in terms of horror. Yeah.
Like from the movie or like a hat signed by him?
From anything signed by him, the original one. I would love to see who has that stuff.
Yeah.
I'm assuming, of course, somebody that actually worked on the project, on the movie itself. But I always find it cool to see the stories, how the memorabilia moves around, how it gets from one person to the next, whether it's collectors, by off chance a pawn shop or something like that. Hearing the stories behind that stuff is so cool to me.
What's so funny is the hats that are used nowadays for like Freddy cosplay, but also for like what they're doing, a bunch of signings on it. Oftentimes they buy Indiana Jones hats and they remove the little piece around the the inner part of the brim, and it's like Indiana Jones. Hey, Indy.
That's pretty funny. I didn't know that. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's fun little facts, but I mean, it's fun little things you figure out, like how people got creative to put these icons together. I don't know if they actually used an Indiana Jones hat for that specific movie where they found the brown fedora, but that's what people use now. Other than if you go to Spirit and buy the kit.
Spirit's got some cool stuff though. I mean, you pay for it, but I remember I was an alien one year in, I don't know, maybe 7th or 8th grade, and it was solid, like quality. It wasn't just your rubber mask with little holes in it. I remember it had the purple eyes and everything, and it was solid. They got some cool stuff in there. Spirit used to be the place in the 90s, at least the way I remember it.
I have some pretty heavy duty Freddy Krueger sweaters from Spirit that I wear, I'm not even going to say during Halloween. I wear it whenever I want to wear
the
it.
store.
But they're actually really good quality, to your point. Like, it's stuff I can wear in Colorado winter and be totally fine. It's stuff I can wear up on the hoop and not rip it apart, and it's fine. So
It's awesome.
it's they do come out with some quality stuff when they want to. Don't be surprised when I see you next if I'm wearing an ET mask.
You know what it is? I think it's when the neck stretches out. That
I don't have a long enough neck. Guys, this has been really awesome. Do we have any final topics we want to talk about or final thoughts before we start to wrap it up?
I'm just surprised I never met you guys in college and like having the same interests and everything. It's cool though, we get to reconnect and talk about things from the past the way we are now. I think that's been great. It's just this kind of weird kinship that we all have because of the generation that we're from, that we can really relate to each other in a way that, kids just today's just don't understand fully what we experienced being in an age where there wasn't the social media and stuff. Like, we saw it and that was it. Like, word of mouth. It wasn't like, social media clips of the movie and all that.
True. That's a good point. I've never thought about that. Yeah. Without social media, different platforms like that, things aren't just you just don't experience things the same. You really, I think on a deeper level, you're able to feel these movies and these soundtracks and experiences, your fears, entirely different way. It's really cool.
Yeah, video games and very short reels are raising this generation, whereas we grew up in a generation that was truly about storytelling through music, through movies, through literature. And so we were raised in a time where the story was more robust. And like you said, there weren't things to give us a lot of clues and break it apart prior to it. We went in with maybe a trailer guiding us and fully immersed into it. So
That's cool. I like it.
look at us, dreamers.
Dream Warriors.
John, you have anything?
No, I don't have anything.
All right, guys, this has been really awesome. And Guillermo, I love that you came on. I love that they get to meet you. You're a very special person to me. You have been in my life for over 20 years and one of my best friends. So I'm so glad that these guys were able to finally talk to you.
Oh, buddy. Well, I'm gonna be in Colorado starting this summer, moving back. So
I mean, we could box and I could beat you up.
we'll see. Yeah.
All right, John Thomas, you want to bring us home?
I do. Thank you for coming on and talking all kinds of different movies with us. It was obviously a blast. Would love to have you on again to talk more, especially aliens, E.T., whatever. I'm kidding.
Yeah.
I had to.
It's not E.T.
And thank you to our listeners. Yeah, E.T. No E.T. We got it. Thank you to our listeners for listening to this episode of 3Haunted Podcast with your hosts. I'm John Thomas.
I am Ashley Lunar Goddess.
And I'm BJ Segura.
If you have any questions, comments, or episode suggestions, please feel free to email us at 3hauntedpodcast@gmail.com. And if you haven't done so already, please like, follow, and subscribe to all of our social media. You don't want to miss amazing episodes like this one.
And also don't forget to check out 3hauntedpodcast.com, where you'll find all of our past and current season episodes, as well as guest information and all kinds of awesome merch.
Until next time.